Hi, and welcome to another episode of our podcast where language enthusiasts talk about learning and stuff.
It's three of us here.
I'm Zoya.
I'm Taya.
And I'm Ksusha.
In this chaotic world, we're all in need of safe space to speak one's mind, laugh, and enjoy life.
Because that's the only way to stay sane while
Zooming
through
Chaos. We have a special topic that we have just discussed. We're going to talk about accents.
yes.
Woohoo! What is it? Is it okay to have the accent? Why do we have the accents and stuff?
Let's start with what it is.
All right. Yes. So what is that?
I think Taya has some information. I always have some information. Well, accent, it's maybe a different type of pronouncing or speaking the language.
I believe it's just some peculiarities that you have in your pronunciation, in the way you pronounce maybe some sounds, maybe some words.
Yes, right. Some sounds, some words. And if we talk about different languages, well, let's start with the English. In English, we have in the world 160 different English accents, according to Google.
160?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Is it a couple of accents in each country then?
Maybe? I don't know. It's just a number that you get if you Google how many accents are there in English.
Okay, thank you, Google.
Of course, it's not just like Indian English, different English accents in Great Britain, in the UK. There are also American English and
Exactly.
I think Spanish English is also in that.
Oh, Spanish English is adorable.
If you just think about 50 states in the USA,
Whoa.
and they all get their own accent, that it makes sense, right? Then
Yes.
it's 170, sure.
Even around Russia, we have kind of different accents. We
Of
say
course, yes.
people pronounce in, for example, or more clearly, or a more clearly.
Or h instead of g in a Ukrainian
Yeah.
way, so to say.
Yes, yes.
Well, not only Ukrainian. In the south of Russia, they speak like this.
Yeah.
But which makes sense because they're close to each other.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if we just start with our own mother tongue, we also have accents and it's fine. Maybe if you are very good at hearing accents, you can hear them around Russia, especially in Moscow, because there are people from around all the country. And I think even in St. Petersburg, they speak a bit different from like basic Russia, which doesn't exist, I guess. I'm just making it up. So yeah, it's everywhere.
Yeah, and I think it's important to mention that there is difference between pronunciation and accent and different words.
Oh, vocabulary.
Yes, local vocabulary, something about поребрик and, or is it бордюр? Yes. But we are talking about the sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly.
But
We can touch on some vocabulary if we know, but mostly we know some basics. We don't know everything. So yeah.
so actually, I also Googled how many accents we have in Russia. It was said only 3 Russian dialects are there.
Seriously?
So it's northern, southern, and central. That's all.
Okay, so northern, southern, and central. What about like east?
Siberia has their own languages. They're not Russian.
No, please, they're Russian.
They're most Russian, you can imagine.
No, I mean different minority.
We are supposed to be multilingual, a multinational country. Hope we are.
Yes, that's right. So if we talk about German, I've also Googled how many dialects and accents are there in German. There are almost 250 different German dialects. So, like,
Wait, it's more than English?
yeah.
How come? Like, what?
They've outdone English.
Yes. And they have never had colonies, right?
They did.
In South Africa, I think they did. South Africa. for
Everybody
sure.
has had colonies in South Africa. It seems like it. Besides us, maybe.
We had our troubles to deal with.
We've got much more to like Antarctica. Yeah. Okay. So that was a revelation. I don't know. That was an interesting fact for me.
Yes, it is. And German, it's only Germany and Austria right now.
Switzerland as well.
Or Switzerland as well. But still, like in terms of territory-wise, it's so much smaller. They're only English-speaking countries, and they still have kind of double number of accents.
Yes.
That's insane.
If you travel in Germany from north to south, you won't get the accents there. So it's like if a person from Hamburg comes to Bavaria, he wouldn't understand anything a Bavarian person says, even they're speaking German. There is the standard language, Hochdeutsch, which we all as foreigners learn.
Hochdeutsch? Really?
Yes.
It's High Deutsch.
Yeah.
It's High German.
It's like RP in Britain?
But it's not that posh, you know.
Okay.
Just hoch.
Yeah. Just hoch.
It's a normal standard German.
Not hände hoch. Sorry.
Oh, this is the same word and the meaning the same.
Yeah.
All right.
So I think I get it, because I also experienced many times when I didn't understand what a German said, even at the level of C1, C2. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a story behind it. I'll tell it later, maybe.
No. Go on right now. Just a warning to all the learners. If you don't understand German in Germany, just move to another part. It may help. Like if you've been learning the language for a couple of years and you understand nothing, move to another part of Germany. So what's the story? Tell us.
Yeah. When I was a student, I went to Austria, to Vienna, with my group mates. And then after Vienna, I was supposed to go to Germany to visit my relatives and had to pay for one more night at the hotel where we stayed, because my flight to Germany was the day after we finished our program and everyone left, and I was alone there. That was pretty cool. But so I needed to prolong my stay in Austria, in Vienna, and I just went to the receptionist, and there was a woman, like a normal Austrian woman, and she told me something. I was like, how come I learned German for 12, 13 years and I can't understand a word? And my Austrian teacher, he stood right in front of me and he translated what the woman said to me in a normal German. And I was like...
In a normal German?
Yeah, hi, Hochdeutsch.
I see.
And that was embarrassing. And after that, I thought, wow, I was embarrassed. Why?
That guilt spiral, beating yourself up, all these negative thoughts.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Me or she should be embarrassed that we don't understand each other.
She should be embarrassed of her not High Deutsch, right?
I don't know. Well, actually, then I understood there are accents. Just calm down. People speak the language they want to speak, even if they speak that to foreigners, even if they don't want to speak Hochdeutsch. Fair enough, you know.
How long ago was it?
Well, it was 2014.
Almost 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Almost 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. So, and then you accepted the fact that they're just speaking different kind of German you were used to speaking, and you were just, it's fine.
Yeah, it took me a bit of a time to realize that, but still, I understood that. And even when my students ask me, well, I'm going to Germany, I want to speak German, and I say, well...
Go to this part of Germany because I taught you this kind of German.
Yeah. Or I just play a video of Schweizerdeutsch.
They're like, I'll never go to Switzerland. That was me when I first heard Swiss Deutsch, German. I was like, no. Very beautiful country. No.
Why no?
No, it's a joke, of course, but I mean, like, in sense of like going there and speaking German, no way. It's a whole other language. It's not a whole other language, it's a whole other variety of language, and you need to spend some time to learn it to be able to speak to them.
Actually, listening to the accents in Germany and in German, I realized that I have just came from Spain,
Hola.
like a week ago. Hola. So I'm sorry, I'm switching. If I hear the word in Spanish, I'm switching to Spanish. So, and there I was staying in a hostel and I met an Argentinian girl and a girl from, I think, Bolivia. So it was also Latin America. And I was on excursion with a Mexican guy. And all of them, they had slightly different pronunciation. I'm not talking about vocabulary right now as well. It was okay. But the pronunciation was a bit different. And actually, I was the first time in Madrid, and the pronunciation in Madrid also was a bit different. They were more doing something like shh and making this th sounds like than you do with the, for example. And the ones from Latin America, they were not making the sound at all. They were just saying s, and it was very different. It was not like a different language, and I was able to understand that. I was able to communicate, but I kept hearing it, and it was an interesting note over there. So if we talk about Spanish, it's mostly Castillo. What is this in English?
Castilian, maybe.
Castilian, maybe? Yes, okay. So the one that is official in Spain, and when they all got all the colonies in Latin America, they had some kind of differences over there. I even know that in Latin America or in Argentina, they have this form, vos. It's a whole other mess. Do not want to go there. But yes, there are differences for sure. And when I talked to different people, I heard the different accents. And actually, it was great. I loved it because it made these people a bit more unique, I would say, with their unique features of pronunciation. And it's not only about the language itself, but also with all the ways we pronounce words. Every one of us individually. I loved it. That was really great.
I have actually a story that connects German with Spanish a bit.
Interesting.
Because when I was in Germany studying for a short period of time, we had a guy from Spain. And, well, Ty will back me up here, I guess. In German, I is ich, and it's like this. Maybe I'm not even pronouncing correctly, but something like this. And this guy said ich all the time.
Ish. Like sh.
Yes, and I know that it's possible to say ich in Germany as well. I mean, in German language and in country, because in some parts people say it. Although when I was studying German at university, they were like, no, it's not correct. You're not supposed to say it. Because I guess we were also studying Hochdeutsch. But one of my groupmates would always say ish. And we would always like shush at him, you know, because we were like,
you're shushing him.
Yeah, because we were like A students, you know. And then we went to Germany and heard this Spanish guy saying ish, and nobody corrected him. No teachers corrected him at all. And we were like, okay, it's fine.
As far as it's not another word, as far as you understand that it's ich, not something like a bear or I don't know. It's okay, you know.
It's not beer and bear,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, that's my biggest approach to accents and pronunciation in general. As long as it's possible to understand what word you mean, you're okay.
That's true. As we like actually move to learning, studying, whatever you call it, people. So, okay, we teach people. And people.
Good for us, not robots.
I mean, like human beings, and they listen to this. Well, sometimes, I'm sorry, but very polished recordings where American people, mostly British people, speaking British English.
RP.
Well, although I do insist that if you can understand British English, you can understand any English. The point is, it's good if you listen to people with different accents. If you're studying English, and I am teaching on the English, you need to listen to Spanish people talking English. You need to listen to French people speaking English, and others you can find like Chinese, anything. And it's going to help you because when you go into a real world after your English classes, and I know, like literally go somewhere, or just listen to some, I know, YouTubers, podcast, whatever, you're not going to hear only American or British English or Canadian or Australian, which are like kind of understandable. or South African, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
It's good when you hear a variety and then you're not that lost when it happens to you in real life.
Yeah, I do agree with that. And I wouldn't say that it's impossible to get rid of the accent, but to me, it's
It's
not really
possible.
the point. Yes, it's possible for sure. You can.
Like, we worked with people, Ksusha and I worked for the same language school, and I'm not gonna like say the names, but you know the people who sounded just like British people. And I know the situations when British people ask them like, so what part of Britain are you from? And they're like, I'm from Moscow. And they're like, what? I thought you were from London or something. A real story.
Yes, that's a real
So
story.
it is, sorry, to your point, that it is possible, but another question is like, do you need to?
That's exactly was my point. So it is possible, but do you really need it? First of all, if you are not a teacher and you're not doing professionally the linguistics, like think about it. Do you really need this posh accent?
Wait a second, but it doesn't mean that if you're a teacher, you don't need this posh accent. I don't have it. I'm fine.
Me neither.
In German, maybe I think you might have the one of the best German accents. So
Me? Well,
Yep.
thank you.
it's true. I'm trying to like say something just to flatter you. It's true because sorry, I'm interrupting Ksusha again.
No, go on,
Ksusha,
go on.
hold on to your thought.
Okay.
But for me, a good accent is actually the one that is I hear that is very close to authentic, and I can also understand it. And for me, this combination is like gold. And like, oh, okay, because I remember my teacher at university, which is like very close to authentic. Again, like I think people ask her, what part of Germany are you from? And she's like, I'm from Ryazan, I don't know. And no, nothing wrong with being from Ryazan, like, but it's true, like she's from some region, but she sounds amazing. And I could understand her. Like I was able to understand her almost all the time. The same with Taya. So this is the right combination. You sound very close to native speakers, but you're not a native speaker and people can understand you.
I do agree with you. If your career is not connected to English directly, if you're not using it just as a tool for communication, do you really need that sound that is spotless and everybody will guess from what part of London you are? But it doesn't mean that if you are an English teacher, you need to do that. It's up to you. I actually really love the approach that my teacher, Yulia, said. Yulia, hello, if you're listening to that. She said that she is actually proud of her accent because it shows that it's not her native language, but she still can speak that and she can speak it really well. And I really love that approach. You take pride in what you have accomplished. And to me, it's just a beautiful.
It's like showing your
it's amazing.
identity to people you speak with, and people just know which part of the world you are from.
Yeah, exactly. So it shouldn't be like when you're speaking, you're like, are you like from Russia? It shouldn't be like, oh, you're from Russia. Oh, come on, let's talk about your country. And I think most foreigners, and actually the ones I've contacted with, they mostly like this. To be honest, it's mostly teachers who can hear different accents. And I've been through this with my students when I'm like play different accents in English to them. And like, do I need to know that this is specific? Like, you don't need to know, but you need to know that this is a different accent. So it should be like a benefit. And if people can tell what country you're from based on your accent, it should also be like some kind of celebration and a topic to discuss instead of like, oh my God, they found out that I'm from like this country. No. Again, about Ty's point, your identity shows through your accent. Again, if you're trying to copy somebody's accent, you're not being yourself. This is very deep, but you're not being yourself. And again, if you're trying to copy this RP is just some accent. It's empty, basically. If you want to sound just like your favorite, I know, English, American, Canadian actor, actress, musician, fine. Okay, for fun. But you're not going to keep it up for a long time, I think. Somehow you're going to slip into your personality because you're a human being, you're unique. Again, if you need it for work, like, oh my God, actors, they learn different accents. Actually, they are, okay, I'm talking about native speakers. For example, American actors learning British accent, you know, some English or Scottish or Irish, whatever. When Colin Farrell speaks, he's Irish, and you can hear his Irishness coming through like a train. It's kind of like either, I don't know, break you or make you, you know. But if you listen to him playing an English character, for example, you
Mhm.
will not hear his accent. And this is cool,
Mhm.
but it's
Mhm.
his job. It's short term. So if you want
Yes,
to
yes, yes.
play with it, fine, be it. But again, be yourself. This is more important.
It's okay if you are in love with RP or whatever accent you're thinking of, and you want to sound like this, please do. It's totally fine. The idea is that just do not try to cover your own personality with accent. If it's just something that you want and like, good. But it's going into psychology, I guess, again. Maybe it will not work out the problems that you were having if you just sound a bit different. Yeah, I was talking about, I had the point and I lost it. Oh, yes. When I was in Spain, basically every time when I was telling the time from Russia, every person that I talked in Spanish was like, "Oh my God, your Spanish is so great. You are so cool. You learned the language." Because for them, it's actually an achievement. And I do believe that it's actually an achievement that I go to a different country and I can speak their language the way they understand me and I understand them. And we have the communication. This is nothing short of a miracle. It's something that you really need to appreciate and celebrate. And every time I was a bit afraid how they are going to react, and it was my inner concerns and the situation right now. But every time I told the time from Russia, it's like, and you're speaking Spanish? Oh my God, where did you learn it? And everybody was saying, "Oh my God, your Spanish is so great. I would never guess that's like it's your foreign language." I think there was flattery there because I'm usually doing the same to the foreigners speaking Russian, but it does add up to your self-esteem and to your self-image for sure. I loved it, and it was just getting the reward back for all the
Effort.
hard hours, yes, of studying finally paid off at that moment. I do believe that is great.
I have a question. If you learn Spanish, which accent do you learn normally as a foreigner?
Is there Hoch Espanol?
We have Castillo, the Castilian, I guess. This is the one in Spain. And there is Latin American. And right now, actually, I took a new course book for my group, for my Spanish group. My Spanish group, I love them so much. They're so cool. And there is a new version of this book. And I downloaded the new version, and they have alternative audios there. And alternative audios are with the accents from Latin America, and I love it. So it's not only the Spanish from Spain, Castillo, pero, but also the ones from Latin America. And I love it because, again, it's exposure to different accents, because we are some kind of this playground with just one accent that we try to understand. But in real life, we have not only the accents of natives, but also all the accents of people for whom these languages are not their first ones. And we have Indian English, Spanish English, actually. That's insane. I love it. It's really funny to me, but I love it. And I don't know, Chinese, Italian. I had an Italian guy in hostel. His English was not great, but he was doing his best, and I admire him for that. He was constructing simple sentences and saying, "I'm sorry, my English is not that great, but I want to tell you my story." That was excellent. And he actually had a very thick Italian accent, and also all the gesturing for sure.
Can't do without
It
it.
was all over the place.
That's where the identity comes through.
Yes, it shines through, yes.
You can't pretend to be not Italian or Spanish. Like, your gestures will give you away.
Like a challenge on the shorts, like speaking Italian without gesturing, and the guy just stands up and he tries to speak without gestures, and
A couple of words only, yes, and then
his hand just kept moving.
And actually, I do want to say that sometimes accent adds up to your charisma.
For sure. Well, first of all, I think it's your own charisma and your mother tongue, and just shines through whatever language you're trying to speak.
Are there any examples for that?
For sure. That will be the ones with Spanish for me, because Salma Hayek is my queen.
Oh,
And I just adore her accent. Her accent is pretty thick, actually. So it's not
Well,
light
wait. Sorry. Thick, you mean pronunciation. Like
pronunciation.
if she's not speaking English in the movie, she's gonna use her Spanish sounds in English words.
Exactly. That's what I mean. And usually that's how accents are created for non-native speakers. Yeah, we just use the sounds from our mother tongue in another language, and that's why we have these different versions of it. Yes. And during all her interviews, I can watch her interviews, I don't know, for not years, but for hours at least, because it is so adorable. And I do love her as a person, and the way she tells her stories, it's just gold.
Yeah. I have actually an example of Indian English with accents.
Today, you're gonna learn?
Do you know Priyanka Chopra?
Yeah.
No, have
I've
no
heard
idea who is
it.
that.
Oh my God, you should Google
And I
her.
think-
First of all, she's gorgeous, amazing, very beautiful. And then her English, she went to some kind of private school, I think, when she was a girl. So her English is like solid. It's excellent, but still something like shows. Maybe it's the way her voice sounds. I'm not sure myself, but I can hear and I know that she's Indian, so like something is so. But it's amazing. It's not what we're like laughing here about this stuff. No, but still you can hear, you can distinguish. I have some other examples. I don't remember the names of French actors and actresses, but there are some, and when they are being interviewed, usually they speak, with their own accent. And as people say, French is one of the most beautiful languages. When French people speak English, their accents shows up, and it's even more beautiful. I hate them. It's like so beautiful. I want to have it. Like seriously, I love
it to
British
me.
English, but I would not mind having a French accent in English. Like why not? And I want to add to your point about foreigners. Foreigners, in most cases, are very chill about anything, about accents, about the way you speak, mistakes you make. They do not even notice them. I worked with some British guys and American guys, and they were also like, oh my God, your English is amazing. Maybe there was also like some kind of flattery there, because I'm not sure, like a year into my career I was excellent. Like, no. But I was trying. I was like
Doing my best.
coming out of my comfort zone. Exactly. Like talking to foreigners was difficult for me at the beginning. And they were like, oh my God, like cheering me on, like, oh, come on, let's talk, like discuss this and that. And I'm very grateful for that experience. Yeah, an Italian guy tries to tell you a story in English and his English is not that good. Good for him.
He actually made the contact with us, and as far as I remember, he ended up having beer with one of the men from my route, so good for him.
Maybe Ty has an example of foreigners speaking English, like accents you like.
Actually, I like the Germans speaking Russian.
German speaking Russian?
The way they speak Russian. Yeah. What accent they make.
I'm trying to remember if I've ever heard it.
I remember
I think I
Til
didn't.
Schweiger, one of the German actors, trying to
Yes.
speak Russian, and I liked it very much.
He's good.
Talking actually about the actors speaking foreign languages, I saw a YouTube video of Argentinian teacher. She has a YouTube channel, and she was reviewing celebrities talking Spanish. And there were a few revelations for me. I don't remember all of them, but basically there was Ben Affleck, as far as I remember. It was the DJ. Don't remember the name of a DJ, but basically they were promoting their products, their films, their albums, and they were promoting them in Spanish-speaking countries, so they were trying to speak Spanish. And every time she was listening to them and said, like, that's great. Yes, I hear some mistakes. Yes, I hear some mispronunciations, but the way you decided to promote it in Spanish, it doesn't even matter if it's like advanced Spanish or basic Spanish. That's gorgeous. First of all, it's kind of paying respect to the audience. And second, they were also going out of their comfort zone and trying something new. That is always great for you. And she was saying that for her, it was a surprise that so many people spoke Spanish. And she was saying how great they are for doing so. And I do believe that if you have the accent, you are great that you have achieved this moment that you can speak the language. I stand on that.
Yeah, I agree. And especially when English speakers, native speakers, try to speak a foreign language, it's an accomplishment on its own because they do not have to. Most of the world speaks English, some kind of English, so they don't need to, and they are kind of known to be lazy. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard that they're kind of lazy to learn anything.
There is a stereotype about that, at least.
Yeah, so when you hear like Ben Affleck speaking Spanish, I actually need to hear it myself. It's like, I know why. My God, he's married to J-Lo. Come on, he needs to. She speaks Spanish at home, I guess, with her children. So, like,
as far as I remember, he was saying that he grew up in the neighborhood where Spanish was spoken, and he was talking to some sisters or maybe neighbors, and he was practicing his Spanish like this.
He was preparing to be married to J-Lo since he was a child.
All his life.
I'm sorry to be like speaking about private life of Ben Affleck, but then I'm just fascinated with their story, and it makes sense now. You see, it makes sense. So, guys, if you like learning some Japanese and you know why, maybe there is a point for you in the future that you will,
You just don't know where it will get you.
Yeah, will get to you. Oh my God.
So, Taya, maybe some years in the future, we will understand why you are learning Japanese.
Yes, we'll find out soon.
Or maybe in your past life, you were a Japanese woman. Oh man. Who knows?
Maybe.
Who knows?
I don't
That
know.
also may be there. Yes.
So
I want to have some kind of a conclusion, girls. So what are the accents? Why do we have them? Should we have them? What are your takes?
It's an amazing thing that distinguishes you from other English speakers, either native or not. And you don't have to have it, but it's good if you do.
At least it's not a bad thing.
It's not.
Because it's part of your personality.
We think it's a good thing. I think it's not bad at all. It's neutral at most.
If you don't want to be proud into your personality, okay. But it's at least not the flaw that you have to
get
correct.
rid of, or maybe, right?
You can work on it. You can perfect it if you want. But please do not get rid of it. As far as other people can understand you, that's all you need.
It's totally normal. It's totally okay.
Actually, if you want to speak without any accent, go for it. It's up to you, actually. And if you don't want to, it's okay if you speak your English or your German with a Russian accent or the other way around. People will also appreciate you for that. So there are many examples. We've named them. So go for everything you want to.
Yes, some food for thought for all of our listeners. That will be it for today. Thank you very much for listening to Zooming Through Chaos.
Subscribe, leave a comment, and share your thoughts about different accents.
Leave a comment below, and we'll see you in another episode.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.